Another beautiful day in Illinois. Happy New Year, you guys.
Yeah, Happy New Year. I was glad to hear that you guys could jump on and talk wrestling. We haven't caught up in a couple weeks. Lot has happened. We hadn't talked since the Dvorak tournament, and now this weekend I personally got back from the Abe's Rumble single A dual meet tournament, and then obviously Hananiga wrestled at the Mid States in Whitewater, and I think East wrestled in Sandwich.
Yeah.
So a lot's going on. Obviously a lot going on in college wrestling too. So
Let's get to that.
yeah. Where do you guys want to start?
Oh, you know exactly where I was going to.
Hey, is he already done?
Oh, I already heard that the landlord came and took his keys away this morning. But because
so let's give people in context. We're talking about the Iowa AJ Ferrari Soldier Salute ending of the tournament. He got disqualified in the finals. The speculation was that AJ Ferrari was going to come to Iowa or is coming to Iowa, and that was a potential wrestle off. So what do you think? You think Marty, your thought is that he's gone. He's not coming.
Well, my thought is John Smith is laughing right now.
Yeah.
because he's no longer at Oklahoma State. I did you guys see what happened? I watched it live.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just mind-boggling what he did.
All right, so here's the leading up to what he did post-match, right? If you watched how he acted at the end, he gets the takedown, comes out, stuffs his head. Probably uncalled for, right? But he did it in every match. He did it in the match before too. So that's some antics, but after that, it's like he just snapped.
He did. And it's not like I told Marianne last night, my wife, I'm like, oh my God, it's not like he lost. He had a great takedown in overtime. That Glazier kid wrestled him tough as hell. Wrestled him, I mean, took away his doubles and stuff. But yeah, it's just and I didn't realize until I woke up this morning, I saw about 7 photos. He was doing the splits, flipping off the crowd.
Flipping off the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, that's the Iowa Hawkeyes, right? That's the crowd that's there.
That's their tournament, right?
Right, I thought so, yeah. And then you want to wrestle for him, and now they're going to just go. He needs. Well, I think he needs. I don't know what he needs, but he doesn't need to be at Iowa.
Yeah, well, I think unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I think it's actually the opposite. I think actually deep down, Iowa, Tom Brand's coaching staff, they like those types of antics. They like the fight. I think they like guys fighting in the room, competing for the spots. And I actually think that, I listened to the interview of Tom Brand's, and he said this is big boy wrestling. And so my assumption is that he's okay with it. I've been in the wrestling room at Iowa when Morningstar and Metcalf wrestled. And Metcalf headbutt Morningstar, blood falling out, and soon they were fighting. And they just kind of watch it.
That's a whole different thing, though. The wrestling room,
but I think the antics is just bringing attention, and he's just trying.
You right there in a close tournament. You just cost your team a tournament title because you just got disqualified and you lose all the points that you had. I mean, you got to have somewhere. You got to have. I mean, I love battles. I love it in the wrestling room. I keep it in the wrestling room. Keep it in control. Keep it in check.
Yeah.
Don't do the splits.
Would lose? Do you think he would lose his composure in the events of like a national event or something like that?
Oh, he easily could, especially when somebody's just pounding the living crap out of him. And there's a guy in this country that'll pound the living crap out of him.
Yeah, his name is AJ Brooks, right?
Yes, it is.
Is Brooks is AJ, right?
Is it?
What's his name?
Aaron Brooks, yeah.
Aaron Brooks.
Yep.
Yeah. That's it. Aaron Brooks. Yeah. I mean, I think obviously Aaron Brooks is unstoppable. I watched him wrestle the last couple meets. I don't see him losing to anybody, whether it's AJ Ferrari or whoever they bring in.
Right.
But again, a second place kid in the country that Glazier, is he getting second in the country?
I don't know. He was undefeated.
Yeah.
I mean, he
wrestled him tough. I was impressed with it. I didn't think I thought it would be a 5-6 point match.
Me
or
too.
Ferrari over Glazer. I've never been really impressed, but and Ferrari's pretty athletic. I
Yeah.
mean, at the end of the day, the kid will probably end up somewhere because he's damn good.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
yeah,
AJ.
at the end of the day, he's going to probably stay where he is.
Someone's gonna, yeah, they're gonna turn a blind eye. He's gonna come out, press release. Oh, hey, blah blah blah. Caught up in the moment. His first competition in a couple of years. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. Either that or it's
Yeah.
not WWE.
Oh, he'd be great.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
he walks
He and
in,
Nate
he's
could
the
be tag
villain
team
already.
partners. Yeah. Him and Nate could be tag team partners.
Yeah, he's definitely someone who has like an awareness as to trying to be annoying to people.
Well, the
Again,
question,
I think I have mixed feelings on it. Like I love the fight, and he just I don't know. It just it seems too much of a I don't know. Yeah, I mean it's tough.
It's,
He
well,
here's the
is this,
thing. Go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Dan. You
Well,
go
I was
first.
just gonna wonder, is it against the family? Because even the at 49, the Iowa guy gave him a little shove. Is there some animosity towards the family? You know, do the Iowa guys not want that? I mean, but
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
that one more. That was a great battle at was it 49, right?
Yeah.
Good battle. You give a little shove at the end. That's
Yeah.
what you want to see. And that Ferrari trying to get up, antics weren't whatever. He just pushed back.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I mean,
mean, it's tough to know the culture inside the room and whether or not he's like accepted in it and stuff.
right. And I don't know
But
if he can handle his own emotions. I mean, I get it. Into the match, you push his head down. That's awesome. Great. You just won an overtime, had a great takedown. But man, it just kept escalating and escalating and escalating.
To do the splits
Yeah.
on the corner of the mat and flip off the crowd. That's
Did you see the picture with what's his name from come on, he's the training guy. He's training for the Olympics. He's the head coach.
Dan Dennis?
Yeah, Dan, did you see that picture? When he's flipping off the crowd, his face is like, holy shit, this isn't good. It's a great picture.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder what's going on in their head.
they're on the wagons.
Yeah, so that happened. Obviously, that tournament happened at the same time the Midlands tournament happened. Like, what do you guys think about the fact that Iowa just basically started a dual tournament for themselves? I don't know. I don't even know who else wrestles there other than some unattached wrestlers. And then the Midlands is going on, but both of them are taking away from a collective talent pool. So, is that like what's happening to the Midlands? Is it fading away? Is it less of an event? And then what is the Soldier Salute anyways? Because I saw the finals didn't have like a ton of fans watching. So,
Go ahead, Dan.
I was going to ask that same question on the Midlands. It's kind of seems like it's lost the prestige. Teams got out. They started up the what was it, the Southern Scuffle years ago, and some of the teams dropped the Midlands, went there. The Midlands used to be awesome. It was an open. I mean, guys training for the Olympics would go and wrestle. I mean, Dale Eggert, the head coach at Libertyville, wrestled in it forever. But then more teams have dropped out, and I don't know why. And then Iowa started their own Iowa dual team tournament. I mean, it's like their wrestle offs almost.
Yeah, they moved it to the Now Center, which is absolutely awesome. It's got so much floor space, and the whole thing started when Iowa left. Then everybody else started separating away. I don't understand why Iowa. I mean, they brought in the crowd. They brought people there. I mean, it was a great tournament, especially at the Now Center. It was just awesome. Sometimes people forget that it's not just about what they want. It's about the population of wrestling and people wanting to watch it and see great wrestling. I mean, Chicago is a great wrestling area. Well,
this brings up something that I've been more aware of it this year probably than ever, but the inability for wrestling coaches to collaborate. It's very hard, and who knows what happened with the Iowa Northwestern. Something happened where they just said we're not coming anymore or something like that. They didn't get enough hotel rooms secured or whatever the situation was. But so much competition is going on from a recruiting standpoint to a individual competition standpoint that like they won't go, hey, what can we continue to put on an event that grows and galvanizes the fans and the participation of the local wrestling communities to grow an event? Because I think it's hilarious that the Midlands at the Now Center cannot fill the arena, right? Like it's like you're telling me one of the most densely populated youth wrestling program or countries, states in the country isn't in the stands, like isn't, that should be a mini NCAA tournament. And I think some of it could potentially stem from the lack of collaboration between coaches and maybe how much money is getting generated and where that money gets distributed. Stuff like that is what I'm finding out is like it's so hard for coaches to collaborate. Even if they agree on something, they can't get together and figure out a way to work on implementing it. They hate each other on so many other days that they give up on the things that they agree about.
Yeah, they have a tendency to take their toys and go home.
Yeah.
I mean, a shout out though, Wisconsin's 84-pounder, Shane Legal, he was a Midlands champion. He wrestled at Loris. He was a 3-time All-American Division III and transferred to Wisconsin, and he won the Midlands. So it was pretty
awesome.
cool. Yeah, it was. Won in overtime. He's a great kid too. Nate knows him, my son, who went to Loris, and I went to Loris. So yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Well, that's great too. That's a good progression. I think honestly, I've been talking to a lot of people about the recruiting process going into Division I, and how like why would a Division I school recruit a senior in high school, even if he's a state champ, even if he's top 10 in the country. It's like when you can recruit a 21-year-old from Loris College who's been lifting weights and regimented in training for 3 years. Why would you recruit a high school kid if you're gonna give a scholarship? Why won't you give a kid the scholarship that's gonna All-American or something like that? So that's gonna change. But I didn't want to get too off topic.
I guess off topic on that topic though. I think it was Deion Sanders that made that comment in one of his interviews that the high school recruiting is slowly going to fade away because colleges are recruiting through the transfer portal now. Exactly what you're saying. I'm going to go after a kid who's already proven himself in college, try to bring him to my school. Those your upper echelon kids in high school probably still get recruited, but the second and the third level guys are the ones who might get passed over now because coaches just look at the transfer portal. Hey, we need a 49-pounder who had one that was pretty tough that didn't get a lot of rest. Oh, look, let's just bring him in rather than, and I think it's a double-edged sword because they put a lot of time and effort into recruiting a kid out of high school. Maybe he was a 3 or 4-time state champ, but some of those kids never pan out at the next level. So
that's a fact. The kid from Northern Illinois is a perfect example. The 65-pounder transfers to Oklahoma State. He's a world beater.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I mean, it's like I was telling my wife this morning that, after watching the Soldier Salute stuff, there's guys there that I don't even know. I mean, I used to know every Iowa wrestler, like the Caliendos and the whatevers, the Franks and all that. I haven't seen enough of them. I don't know anything about them. Don't know how they even wrestle. So it's just, it's the nature of the beast now.
Yeah, it's changing a lot of things. And I think there is a positive to that. It gets kids, well, the recruiting thing I like because it will encourage people to take gap years from high school to college. And I think, personally, I think I could have like really allowed myself to mature mentally a little bit and understand what kind of transition that college experience was going to be. I think the older you get, the wiser you are. So it's just like a natural thing. If you have some time, you could, get a little wiser and a little bit more mature and, a little bit more understanding of the next phase, I guess. But regardless, I think, that's the type of stuff that's happening. But going back to that conversation though, about the Midlands and that tournament, like, so we've talked about how college programs are competing less, mostly just because they're trying to preserve their energy and stuff. So are these tournaments, the diluted competition, still like it's like reps for them? Is that what they're looking at? Is just like, well, we're gonna get 10 matches or whatever, even though it's not the best competition, they're just reps of matches. Um, and is that like something that you guys think that is going to be good for? I definitely think we all can agree that it's not good for the engagement of the fan, right? Like I didn't watch the Midlands, but I don't remember a time where I didn't watch the Midlands. You know, like back in the day where it's Mako versus Tommy Rollins, or or like it was those. There were so many matches that I remember wanting to watch because they were only going to happen there, the Big Ten tournament, and then NCAA tournament. So it's like, yeah. What do you think about that?
Well, I, for one, made the decision the day before the Midlands. We were going to go to the Midlands. The day before the Midlands, I made a decision. Why are we going to go in there? It's already going to be on Big. I have Big Ten Plus. It's on Big Ten Plus. I can watch any match I want. But I'm also just like the competitiveness is totally gone. I mean,
Yeah.
like, if you look at that award stand, there were so many guys that won it that were unattached. It's just, and that never happened before. It's just from a crowd standpoint and good wrestling. I just decided, nah, I'll just watch it on TV and I'll watch a Soldier Salute too. But what do you do?
Well,
I mean,
I think you're kind of alluded to it a little bit. I think that teams look to rest guys, so they use these open tournaments for their, backups, or the unattached guys, or maybe a guy who's been out of the lineup that needs to get some mat time, and they bring him back in. I don't know a team, looking at the team race at Midlands, that sent their full normal roster.
I think
Illinois,
Wisconsin did. Wisconsin and Illinois probably did, right?
Illinois didn't have a couple guys in there. I
Okay.
imagine unless the Brown Eagles are taking Olympic red shirts.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think they're out for Olympics.
But it's definitely not the same tournament was 5-6 years ago when it was.
You know what else you got to do as a coach, though, is you got to have those multiple weigh-ins. Those guys got to get used to that, because all of a sudden, end of the year at the Big Ten, you're weighing 2 days in a row, and you go to nationals, it's 3 days in a row. You gotta learn to keep your weight in check. Plus you gotta learn to wrestle under adversity. At those tournaments, when you wrestle 4 times a day or 5 times a day, you got to get used to that.
Yeah. Well, here's a question to go off of what you said, Marty. Do you think we actually are doing a disservice by creating so much ease at the broadcasting? Because obviously broadcasting, we're trying to get to a new audience, but it also discourages people who would normally come and provide energy and to the atmosphere of the competition. So is it actually, should we stop broadcasting the competition live?
Absolutely not. It's the greatest thing in the world for a nut like me. But you know what it has done, though? I mean, I went to the Nationals for over 30 years, probably almost in a row. And I've started just watching it here in March. If it gets a little closer, I actually like the Big Tens better, unless they start forfeiting all their matches like they did in Nebraska a couple of years ago, where everybody medically forfeited. But
yeah,
I mean, it's great for the sport of wrestling. You got to broadcast it.
Well, and I'll say that I love the broadcast, but we're still going. Me and Andrew Walters are still flying out to the Big Tens to watch them in Maryland this year.
Are you really?
And you can watch the whole thing online, but it's the atmosphere
of
being there for that,
And you'll have great seats because there won't be a big crowd.
Exactly. We might even be Matt's side.
You could be.
Yeah, hopefully that Maryland fan with the duck or whatever, I forget that guy. Hopefully God. He's not there anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if he's still around. I haven't seen or heard from him in a while.
Yeah, that guy was pretty interesting, Maryland fan.
And that was at the Big Tens when he would, he'd be at
he'd go everywhere.
Midlands.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
He was everywhere. Midlands, NCAAs. I saw that dude everywhere. But yeah, so what else you guys got? I mean, I know like I said, I mentioned the high school stuff. Have you guys been following much high school wrestling?
Yeah, the bigger tournaments and some of the bigger duels going on lately. I mean, Hananiga's having a pretty good season so far, Hidden Stride. I mean, they had a good showing at Dvorak. Real good showing this weekend up at that Mid-States. You know, and that's all without the Silva kid.
Yeah,
On
he
the
should be
lineup,
back
so,
soon.
so, you know, hopefully it's not a season ending for him, you know, but yeah, I mean, they're, you know, we said before, if he could get the, you know, they got the 3 kids that came in this year for them, and you got a good supporting cast and get that supporting cast. You know, I watched them wrestle Belvedere that night. They looked pretty good, and watching them at the Dvorak and everything, they looked pretty solid.
Yeah.
You know, as a team, that they're a great tournament team. As a
Yeah.
dual team, they still got a couple things to work on. There's like 4 holes that they just. It's not that you got to change those 4 holes. You got to get those 4 holes not getting pinned.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something that I'm sure Tyler will work on and get those guys, because you're only as in the dual meet situation, you're only as good as your worst wrestler. And
Yeah.
you know, and they're going to be all right. I mean, they got a good chance to qualify for state in the duels too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't, like you said, though, you give them those duels, you got to get the bonus points out of your studs, and you can't give up the bonus points.
Right.
You know?
And it looks like St. Charles East is like the team above everybody after this weekend.
Yeah, it kind
Yeah,
of. I was surprised they rolled through the Flavin.
Yeah. Did you see
Yeah,
what
I'm not
Joliet
surprised.
Catholic did to Sandberg?
Wasn't
I
that?
didn't see the ending score. No.
I thought it was
I think-
close.
I thought when I looked at my on
No.
Track Wrestling, I think it was 60-6.
Okay.
Look it up.
Yeah. Someone else beat Sandberg at the end. That kind of surprised me. Maybe Elmhurst ICC.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, they did. I was
really
I was
thought-
surprised. I was gonna go look at the match results, the individual match results, because I was surprised too that IC beat I think they beat Lincoln Way West, and Lincoln Way West was in a pretty good position, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We were
unfortunately,
supposed to
I was-
wrestle.
Having a decent season is and bringing, looks like he's got it turned back around, is Montini. Bukowski's back leading the charge there, and they've had some pretty strong showings at places. So
yeah,
You know,
and
Hananiga was supposed to wrestle IC and Brother Rice during Christmas, and it got canceled for some reason.
Well, I think there's probably some of the reasons where they didn't have any of the kids in the lineup yet. You know, we didn't talk about that, but yeah, they had 3 guys out until I want to say last week. Obviously, same with Woodstock Marion. They had a couple kids out plus a coach out until they had a court ruling that allowed them to wrestle. So it's always interesting to see that, because obviously, you know, same with Montini. Montini has, I think, 1 or 2 kids still out. And I don't know how it works, but if one lawsuit wins, why wouldn't another lawsuit win? You know, so
Right.
yeah,
it's an interesting time for that stuff, because it could change a lot. Obviously, I don't think it's going to change the team result. I think you're right. St. Charles is pretty much looks like they're dominant and they're going to run away with it. You know, Hananiga, I think it'll be interesting to see how they fall into place if they make it to the state tournament, and see what bracket, you know, where they fall in the bracket. Obviously, it would have been nice to kind of see him wrestle at the Flavin. You know, I was talking to coaches, and I think we all talked about this, or at least McNames and I have talked about this, but I was talking to some single A coaches down at the Abe's Rumble, and I was like, hey, so what do you guys think about maybe doing the team state tournament in January, doing it earlier? I was like, isn't this tournament kind of like the team state tournament? Why can't you just do this and just crown the team state tournament, so you don't have to deal with the stuff that comes after the season? And yeah, he was definitely open to it, and he said the way that he basically he does a Marty approach. He tells every single kid on the JV team that they're wrestling in fresh off state, and if they don't, they're off the team. So basically, the way that he keeps everybody staying is you either wrestle fresh off state or you're off the team. Now, I don't know if that's feasible at every school, right? Because, you know, some things aren't going to flow that way, right? But there's a lot of stuff that comes after the season, whether it's injury from the state tournament and stuff like that. But these big team events like this, it's like, I feel like, you know, you could crown the team title before the individual state series. But yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that because I think it's already set up. The Ames Rumble is probably your dual team state champions, right?
Yeah, minus IC Catholic. That was the only
But they're
single A
two-way
team that
now, I
wasn't there.
thought.
Oh, are they? I don't know.
Yeah, I
That
thought
stuff
they were.
switches so damn quick that I
Yeah,
don't really
I
know.
think they're two. But even so, if they're 1A, so next year you just have them come. I mean, if Flavin is your 3A, you just need someone to run that 2A, and you get your dual team title done middle of the year at the end. The regional section, you're just focusing on your individual kids and their performance. You keep
Yeah.
team points. You hand out a regional champ, a sectional champ. State, you hand out 4 trophies to the top teams with individuals.
Yeah, I agree with that so much.
And then your kids that you want to keep around, you're keeping around anyways, right? Even if you're still doing the dual team. But
Yeah.
now some of those guys, maybe you have a senior who, doesn't make it out of the regional, but he's been cutting a lot of weight. He still has to cut weight for the next 2 weeks for the dual team. Now he doesn't have to cut that weight anymore. He can still come in and work out and help guys get better. But I don't know. I don't think Marty agrees with me though.
No, well,
Yeah.
it's the most greatest worst thing there is in high school wrestling is qualifying for the state duels. It's awesome, and it takes a coach and it takes a whole community to get it, and it takes a great school, great athletic director, which I used to have, and we took care. I mean, I loved it. I just absolutely loved it. We took everybody that was going to be on the dual meet team, took them to the state tournament. They all worked out. They got to work out in the wrestling room. They got to do everything. So I loved it.
Yeah.
That's how you
that's
how you get a trophy, by keeping everybody together.
Yeah, I don't think we're disagreeing with the connection with the program. I think, one, we talked about the college wrestling, the fan perspective. Well, the fan perspective at the team state event is only the people on the team. Whereas, if you had it throughout the season somewhere that was accessible, I think you'd get a lot more people to just attend anyways. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I think you could benefit from getting that team title. The only question I had here, McNames, I wanted this question. How would you organize the pool? How would you organize the pools to separate, how do you rank the bracket before? Because obviously that's the biggest question that the regionals are supposed to provide the answer to, even though they don't. But how do you create separation between the best teams and the best teams?
Well, I guess, how does Ames do it? I mean, they separate the best teams, right? You look at rankings, you look like maybe team finished from the year before. I mean, you come up with a system. I mean, just take Class A. You look at the regional over to our west, Dakota, Lena, Winslow, Oregon, all in the same regional, right? Well, you separate those three, or at least two of those three, when you get down to, if you're going to try to get your best team. So you have 8 pools. However, Ames does 64 teams, I think.
Yeah, 60 teams, I think.
Yeah, which is crazy, because I just thought, you just open it up, and teams, if they want to get in, they get in. If they don't, you don't have to. Like, if I have 6 studs and only 2 other kids on my roster, hey, I might win the regional, right? Maybe, because I had 6 first place and 2 other guys that place. I don't have enough guys to qualify for the team part of it. I think you still have to have so many guys to qualify, but I'm not going to win many dual meets, even if I pin 6 guys,
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, I think you're right. I think you separated through just the rankings, through coaching, polls and past results, head to head and stuff like that.
You look at how basketball, and for good or worse, basketball, baseball, whatever, they do it. They separate. When they had the teams that were in their sectionals, the coaches ranked them, right? This is the best team. Whatever teams get so many points become the 1, 2, 3. Some coaches probably play the game. Oh, I don't want to play them, so I'm going to rank them here. But for the most part, it probably works out where you have a good system where the top 4 teams at least are separated or whatever.
Yeah, they definitely did a good job this weekend. It seemed like every, the duels, I stayed to the quarterfinals, and it was competitive. I think, like you it was not like a lopsided side of the brackets,
Yeah.
you know. And yeah, it was interesting to watch how they put on that event. I thought that event was pretty cool. So, yeah. So yeah, I mean, the rest of the season it's almost January 1st, right? And the conference tournament is at the end of the month. I think the next month I'm gonna focus as much as I can on kind of like previewing that with the conference, Nick 10 conference specifically. But yeah, I think I'm excited. I mean, it's crazy that the season goes by so fast, and I feel a little bit less exhausted because I'm not coaching on a daily basis, but it is still exhausting. I tell you that, that's for sure.
Well, I think the season goes by faster when you're not in the room every day.
Yeah.
100%.
Because right now is that grind part of the season.
Oh,
You know,
God.
you got Christmas break, you know, kids showing up. You're trying to compete still and keep kids around. And second semester starting up. This is the grind right here. You get through the next couple weeks, and then I always said that the end of the year is the fun part. You know, the conference tournament, then the individual series. That's the fun time of the year. You know.
And the duels state.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun.
I mean, all those things at the end is the fun time. Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, if you guys don't have anything else you want to throw out and talk about, we can end it and catch up again this next week. I think there's a couple events coming up. Let's see. I know next week Sycamore. Is Hananiga in that event?
Yeah, I think. I mean, we always have been.
Yeah, so Sycamore is this weekend, January 6th. I'll be out there checking that out. And then, yeah, Nick 10 conference on the 27th, regionals following, some big duels. We got East versus Harlem, so that'll be a local duel that I'll probably attend. And yeah, Hananiga wrestles Lee Win, but I don't really think that one's going to be a very close match. But Lee Win's not bad, but they just don't have the capacity, I don't think, to beat Hananiga. So yeah. Besides that,
yeah, I'm interested to see
almost over.
East here at the end. What Gene's getting it together. He's got some good kids in that lineup, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't something, you know, I didn't get much information on their results from the what is it called? The Whitlatch?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I saw Donald Cannon and a few others, they all I don't know if they injury defaulted, but they all got sick. They went to sixth place, so
the Cannon kid's still recovering. You know, he broke his ankle or his lower leg, and maybe he tweaked it in the semifinals. So Gene said, "Be on the safe side. Let's just, you know, if you're not 100%, there's no reason to battle."
Yeah, and then is the heavyweight coming down to 215, or is he staying up? Lee Smith. So
I don't know.
Yeah, those are the questions to be answered.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this end of the season will. Yeah, I think that's the hard part too, is following. There's so much so much spread out. Everybody's doing other things, so it's really hard to keep tabs on everybody. So
have they come out with the regional assignments yet? Regionals are.
Yeah.
Where's it at?
I don't know.
For 3A.
Okay. Where's 2A?
Rochelle, I think.
Yeah.
Rochelle. Sorry, I didn't mean that.
Yeah.
I didn't know what you said. So
I did not that I care.
Oh.
2A.
Well, Rochelle is actually they're going to do really well this year. I think they might be the team from the area that has the best shot of getting a trophy, I think. Obviously Hananiga is tough, but I mean 3A is going to be a grind. You're going to have to beat a really tough Lockport, or you're going to have to beat a really tough Lincoln Way, right?
Yeah.
Like they're going to have to beat somebody.
Maris.
Yeah. I mean, so getting the trophy.
Warren's pretty solid this year, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they've kind of avoided some of those competitions. I haven't seen Warren wrestle much, and they're tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think as the closer, the more I look, I mean, Rochelle is looking pretty good. They have a
That'd be
real
awesome.
solid lineup. Yeah.
Weren't they at the Abe duels?
No, they actually went to the Flavin,
Yeah.
and
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah.
yeah, because they don't invite 2A or 3A teams. It's
It's all
only
1A.
single A.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which again, I think that's like if you're gonna run a tournament, I like the idea, but at the end of the day, there's some 1A teams down there that they're forfeiting, 3 or 4 weight
Yeah.
classes. So it's like,
Yeah.
what's the point?
Joliet Catholic
I get the idea.
3A this year, right? Joliet Catholic 3A this year.
No, I think they're 2A, aren't they?
No, they
But
bumped their
they bumped
they
up
have a
because they won the title. I think they got bumped
Okay.
to 3A.
yeah.
You know, when the Flavin first started, we used to wrestle 4 duels on Friday, and then we had an individual tournament the next day.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. But then, I mean, this Hananiga needs to get back into it though, because it's a great parameter for them. So maybe next year they can get into it.
Yeah, I would assume that next year they probably will. It's just because, they're not losing a lot and they're gonna be in the same position
The
as
problem
they
you
were
run
this year.
into is when they fall. Mid-states was the same time as the Flavin, and
Right.
you gotta. I guess you look at which one is your team going to benefit from better. If you're preparing for the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably
Right.
the Flavin. You want to get in there and
Yeah.
battle and see where you stack up and what you got to work on. I guess I don't know.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because one thing I noticed this week is it's such a great opportunity from a coaching staff to recognize how you can bump guys, how you can move guys, what weight classes you're going to have a backup at, which kid can go up a weight class and get bonus points, because you don't want to just bump everybody in certain. You want to bump the people who are going to add value to the team. And so you need those reps. You need those reps where you can go, hey, you're wrestling 215 today. And it's like, all right, whatever, coach, I got it. Whereas like if you just have if you only do that one time during the year, the kid isn't going to feel confident potentially. The team is going to be chaotic. You might have people freaking out that they're bumping, you know what I mean? So it's a good opportunity for people to see how the game is played when it comes to the dual meet component. So,
Yep.
But all right, guys,
All
well,
right.
good chatting with you, and we'll talk soon.
Happy New Year.